Welcome back, dear students. I welcome you all for the third term, third class. Okay, so last week we have seen that first lesson, My Reminiscence by Rabindranath Tagore. After that, we have seen that vocabulary part, clipped words and the blends. So, the continuation of that we are going to see today. We are going to see the three topics. Okay, so first topic is idioms. So continuation, after that blending words we have idioms, that is vocabulary. Idioms comes under vocabulary part. After that conjunctions and sentence pattern, that is grammar part. Okay, so this we are going to discuss today, these three topics. Okay, first idioms. What do you mean by idiom? Is there any idea? Idiom. So I already written conventionally understood. So on the page number 97 in your book, an idiom also called idiomatic expression. That is idiomatic expression. That is not a, if there is a idiom, you cannot take a direct meaning. Okay, conventionally understood means a particular group of people only they can understand. So it is a kind of language. Idiom is a separate language, conventional language. Okay, it cannot be understood by all the people. So the people, those who read, those who learned this only, they can understood. Okay, a group, the people, those who learn or those who already know this only, they can understood this meaning. So all the peoples, remaining common people, they cannot understand. Okay, so that's what, that is a conventionally understood, different language. If you know the language only, you can understand the idiom. Okay, that meaning. That's one hidden meaning. So another word we can say, that is a hidden meaning, not direct meaning. It is a hidden meaning. Okay, so that's what. Let's see that this meaning is different from the literal meaning of the idiom's individual elements. So this idiom meaning is different from that literal meaning. Literal meaning means what? Eye. So literal meaning, this is my eye. Apple on eye. Keep an eye on him. So apple on eye. So likewise, this is called idioms. Okay. So for example, kick the bucket. See that the example is, first example is given. Kick the bucket. What is the direct meaning? Literal meaning. Literal meaning means direct meaning. Kick the bucket. What you understood? Just sir, kick the bucket. So this is the literal meaning, direct meaning. So what is the idiomatic meaning? What is the idiomatic meaning? Idiomatic meaning is the meaning of the expression is different from the literal meaning or definition of the word which is made. The meaning is used figuratively to die. Actually the idiomatic meaning is to die. Kick the bucket means to die. So that is the idiomatic expression. Okay, that is idiomatic meaning. Okay, that is to die. Kick the bucket. Kick the bucket. So the idiomatic meaning is, the literal direct meaning is kick the bucket. Hey, go and kick the bucket. Don't kick the bucket. That is direct meaning. But idiomatic meaning is, that is a different from the direct literal meaning. Idiomatic meaning is different from literal meaning. So what is that idiomatic meaning, or here, to die. To die. So this is the idiomatic meaning they are given, to die. Okay, so this is the meaning, to die. To so regarding alive or die, we are saying no, he is alive, he is die. So non-living. So kick the bucket means non-living, to die, going to die. Okay, so that's what. So likewise, we have different types of idioms. So in your book it is given, take page number 97. So the meaning of the expression is different from the literal meaning or definition of the word of which is made. The meaning is used figuratively to die. So the figurative meaning is to die. Okay. So here are some interesting idioms. So hope you know very well. We gave that assignments. So we gave that activities based on this idioms only. So last term we gave that activity, no, second term. So you have to write the idioms with the meaning and the sentence. So that's based on this only we gave that activity. Okay, last term. So let's see that different types of idioms. What are the idioms we have? Interesting. First one, food idioms. Food idioms means what? It's relating to food. The idiom is relating to food. First one, bad egg. Food idioms. Okay. So, example, bad egg. So, if you take the literal meaning, straight meaning. Literal meaning means straight meaning. Spoiled egg. Bad egg means spoiled egg. But what is the idiomatic meaning? Idiomatic expression or figurative meaning. Okay. So, what is that idiomatic meaning? A dishonest or ill-behaved person. So, bad egg. So, literal meaning or straight meaning. Literal meaning is spoiled egg. Spoiled egg. So, this is no need for us. We know that. Bad egg means spoiled egg. This is no need for us. We need idiomatic meaning. Okay. What is that? Given in the book. Bad egg means a dishonest or ill-behaved person or ill-behaved person. See that? This is the idiomatic meaning. So this is we need. This is what we are doing. Okay, this is what we are discussing now. This is the idiomatic meaning. Bad egg means a dishonest or ill-behaved person. The person is not good, dishonest person. So that's called bad egg. Okay, so that is the literal idiomatic meaning is different from the literal meaning. Next one, a piece of cake. Sir, recently we completed Christmas celebrations and all. Okay, you know, New Year. So when we remember Christmas and New Year, so when we celebrate Christmas and New Year, which thing is very priority? Okay, which snack we will give more priority? Cake. Okay, so a piece of cake. So in idiomatic meaning, what is that? What says? A piece of cake means a task that can be accomplished very easily. A task that can be accomplished very easily. Okay, a piece of cake. Piece of cake. Okay, so what is that? A task that can be accomplished very easily. That is the idiomatic meaning. A task that can be accomplished very easily. So this is the meaning for a piece of cake. A task that can be accomplished very easily. Very easily do a action or very easily do a thing. Okay, so that's what. A task that can be accomplished very easily. Sir, it is very easy, sir. It is very easy to do. It is very easy to tell something tasks. Some task is there or some work is there. Sir, this work is very easy to do, sir. That's what. A task that can be accomplished very easily. That's what? A piece of cake. Okay. So that's what. Example, English is a piece of cake. Example sentence. Example sentence. Okay. This is the meaning. This is the meaning. A task that can be accomplished very easily is the meaning of the idiom. This is a sentence. So we have to make a sentence with the idiom. So how can we make a sentence? English is a piece of cake, which means English is a very easy subject. So English is a piece of cake. See that? I brought this idiom in the sentence, no? See this. This idiom comes in this sentence. So that's what? Sentence with the idiom. Idiom with sentence, okay? So English is a piece of cake, which means English is very easy subject. So that's what. This is an example sentence. This is meaning. Understood? Have you all understood clearly? So that likewise, next we have sports idiom. Sport, you know that. The first one, the ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. So what is the meaning? It is your turn to make a decision. Page number 98, take sport idiom. Okay. So I just give the topic, headlines only. You can see your book. Okay. So next we have sport idiom. Sport idiom. Okay, second one, sport idiom. So what is that first one? The ball is in your court. That is the idiom. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. So this is the idiom. What is the meaning of the idiom? It is your turn to make a decision. Sometimes we are telling others, no, hey, this is your turn. This is your time. You have to take a decision. So that is the meaning of this idiom. Okay. It is your turn to make a decision. It is your turn to make a decision. It is your turn to make a decision. That is the meaning of this idiom. So sentence, example sentence, I have done more than my share in this partnership. The ball is in your court to decide what happens next. So the sentence is given in the book. I have done more than my share in this partnership. The ball is in your court to decide what happens next. So I have done more than my share in this partnership. So they are doing, one or three people or some people, few people, they are doing business. The one person say, I have done more than my share in this partnership. So in this partnership I have done more than. So now the ball is in your court to decide what happens next. So you have to take a decision what is the next. So that's what in the example sentence. Okay. So see that. Next one, saved by the bell. Saved by the bell. Saved by the last minute intervention. Okay. Saved by the bell means saved by a last minute intervention. For example, example sentence, the accused was saved by the bell, otherwise the judge would have pronounced the sentence today itself. So the last moment somebody is saved. So that's called saved by the bell, the last moment. Okay. So saved by a last minute intervention. So in the court scenes, in the movies, you could see that court scenes, the last moment one witness come and, sir, he is not accused, sir, I have a witness. He is not accused, I have a witness. Okay, favor to him. So he is not accused, the accused is, he just indicate other person. Okay, so in order to the last moment, he come with that witness and he saved the person. Likewise, okay, the accused was saved by the bell, otherwise the judge would have pronounced the sentence today itself. Saved by the last minute intervention. Somebody is, the accused was saved by the last moment. That's called saved by the bell. So here, to strike, some of that idioms are given in the boxes. A coach potato. A coach potato. First one, a coach potato. What do you mean by coach potato? Potato means the vegetable we using for the cooking. So make a curry or something. Okay. So that is potato. A coach potato. A coach potato means what? An idle person. The person is very idle. So he is called a coach potato. That is idiomatic meaning. Next one, a smart cookie, a clever person. Smart cookie means a clever person. Bread and butter, necessities of our life. Okay, bread and butter. Big cheese, an important person. Big cheese means not big cheese. We are eating the cheese. We are used to spread the bread and eat. That it indicate not that cheese. Important person. That's what. Second one, to strike out, to fail at something. Strike out means to fail at something. Jump for joy, happy. So this is almost same meaning. So jump for joy, happy. On the ball, fully aware and in control of a situation. On the ball means fully aware and in control of a situation. That is the meaning. Front runner, expected to win or succeed. Front runner, expected to win or succeed in the game. That is called front runner. Numbers, sports idiom is over. Some of the words with the meaning also given. Okay. Next we have number idioms. Okay. So third one is number idioms. My dear children, I just explained first and second idioms. We can't go explanation for all the idioms. The book is given. I just give the headline and explain you. Okay. No need to, if I write everything means we don't have time. You just see that. Number idioms. Third one. Number idioms. So what is the number idioms? The idioms related to the numbers. Okay, first one. On cloud 9. On cloud 9. On cloud 9 means 9. 9 is coming here, no? So 9 is a number. On cloud 9, blissfully happy. So that meaning is blissfully happy. Blissfully happy. So that is on cloud 9. So blissfully happy. So sentence with the idiom, the grandmother was on cloud 9 to see her grandson after a long time. So a grandmother is there. She was seeing her grandson after a long time. So she became very blissful happy. So that's what on cloud 9. Okay. So the meaning is the idiom is on cloud 9. Okay, on cloud 9. The meaning is blissful happy, blissfully happy. Okay, so 9 is a number. The idioms comes with the number, so it is called number idiom. Okay, number idioms. So blissfully happy. Next one, at 6s and 7s, 6 and 7 numbers is coming. Confused or in a state or disorder. So what we have to decide, what I have to say, whether I have to go or not, whether I eat or not, confusion, 6 or 7. So this is an idiom. So straight meaning is 6 or 7, 6 or 7, so numbers. But idiomatic meaning is, figurative meaning is confusion or disorder. Okay, see that. The government were at 6s and 7s over what to do about the unemployment rate. So the government were at 6s and 7s, which means the government is confused what it is going to do for that unemployed person. Okay, so the government is in confused mind. So because what? There are a lot of unemployment persons. So that's what. So we can say the government is 6 or 7 to open the school or not in the corona time, the quarantine time. Okay, the government is 6 or 7 to open the school during the quarantine time. You can say like that also. Okay, so 6 or 7 means in the confused mind. Okay, confused state. That's what. Color idioms. Next, 6 or 7. That number idioms, we have some of the idioms. One horse town. Very small town or village. One horse town means very small town or village. That is called one horse town in idiom. Next one, take 5. Take 5 means take a short break. Take 5 means take a short break. That is called. That is the meaning. Seventh heaven. Seventh sense you might have heard, but seventh heaven, very happy about something, very happy. You are very happy about something. That is called seventh heaven. Perfect 10, completely perfect. Perfect 10 means completely perfect. That's what. Color idioms, colors idioms. Next we move to colors idioms. Colors idioms. Okay. So colors idioms. Caught red-handed. Caught red-handed. So red is a color. So the idioms comes along with the color. So it is called color idioms. Okay. Caught red-handed. Caught red-handed. So what is the idiomatic meaning? What is the idiomatic meaning? To catch someone in the act of doing something. The police caught the thief red-handed, which means the police caught the thief when he was stealing some money, when he was stealing. Okay, so that is called red-handed. When he was doing that stealing, or when he was robbing somewhere, when he was doing some bad things, the police caught him. That is called red-handed. Okay, so to catch someone in the act of doing something, in the act of doing some unwanted thing, we catch someone. That is called caught red-handed. He was caught red-handed while stealing those candy bars. He caught red-handed while he was stealing those candy bars. He was caught. He was caught. Okay, that's what. Next one, black sheep. This idiom is familiar to you all. Black. Who is the black sheep? If somebody is give a comment, or if somebody is in the group, if somebody is do something unwantedly, now means what we will do? We will raise. We will ask, hey, who is that black sheep here? Or who will make a disturbance, or who will did this unwanted thing here? That's what. Okay. To be the outcast, odd one out, unlike the others. To be the outcast, odd one out, unlike the others. Okay. Don't like others. Black sheep. Okay. That's what. To be the outcast, odd one out. Just bring out the black sheep. Odd one out. Different. Who is the different, strange person here? Who is the black sheep here means who is the different person here? Come out. Okay. That's what. Black sheep. So, unlike the others. Example, Rachel is the black sheep in the team. Rachel is the black. Actually, he is not belongs to this team, but he was standing in that team. Actually, he is a opponent team, but he was standing in that team, which means the captain say, hey, you are not our team. You are the black sheep. You just come. You just hear all our secrets. You just come here to reveal our secrets, or you come here. Okay, so that's what they will ask. No, why you are here? You are not our team. Why are you standing in our team? The captain will scold him. No, likewise, the Rachel is the black sheep in the team. The unwanted person or strange person, the person who is not belong to that group or team or family, that is a black sheep, unwanted person. Okay. Animal idiom. At snail's pace. So in that black sheep, that colors idioms, we have some of the idioms. Let's see in that book. So what I read that is given in the box. Out of the blue, randomly, surprisingly. Out of the blue means randomly. Something has happened very randomly. Okay. Surprisingly happened. Once in a blue moon, very rarely. Okay, very rarely. Once in a blue moon. That in the sky, the rainbow appears in the sky once in a blue moon. Rarely it appears. It won't be appear every day. Rare occasion it will happen. It will appear. So that is once in a blue moon. Gray area, unclear, undefined. Gray area, unclear. What your opinion is unclear. Okay. What you have said is gray area, which means unclear, undefined. A golden opportunity, a good chance to get something valuable. Golden opportunity, good chance. Animal idioms. At snail's pace, moving very slowly. hey, why are you walking at snail's pace? At snail's pace. Snail means the creature. Okay, so you know that creature, it's creeping over that down. That is a snail. At snail's pace, moving very slowly, like a snail. He is walking like a snail. That's all. Traffic is moving at snail's pace. Example sentence: traffic is moving at snail's pace. Let the cat out of the bag. Reveal secret. Let the cat out of the bag. Let the cat out of the bag means reveal the secret. Somebody is reveal the secret in front of others. Okay, that's what. Example sentence: who let the cat out of the bag? About the surprise party. Okay, somebody is reveal the secret, so carrying this confidential. Tomorrow they are going to have a party, but before the party, somebody is reveal the secret. Tomorrow we are going to have a party. There is a surprise party, but one person among the group is reveal the secret to others. So tomorrow we have a party. So which means what will happen? There will be no surprising at the end. If you come to know something is going to happen previously, the interest is, there will be no interest. You lost the interest. Okay, so that's what. So who let the cat out of the bag? About the surprise party. Who revealed the secret of the surprise party? Okay, that's what. The lion's share, the biggest part. Lion's share means the biggest part of the share. Okay, that's what lion's share. Watch like a hawk, watching carefully. Fish out of the water, very uncomfortable. Fish out of the water means you feel very uncomfortable in some other's home. Okay, some other stranger's home, or some other new place or new country. Okay, you feel very uncomfortable. So that's what fish out of the water. Man has hornet, extremely angry. Man as a hornet means he is very angry, extremely angry, very angry. So some of the idioms is given. I give that answers and all in that PDF. So don't bother about it. You just go through it. Before I send the notes, you just practice it. This answers and all. You just practice it. Next we move to that notice writing. Already we completed in that second term. So don't bother about it. Next straight away we move to the grammar part. Okay, grammar part. First we have conjunctions. Conjunctions. What do you mean by conjunction? Connector. Conjunction means connector. Two words, sentences. Connecting one word is called conjunction or connector. Okay. So we have, what are the common conjunctions? And, but. Okay. So yet, because. So these are all common conjunctions, but we have some different conjunctions we are going to see here. So first one, conjunctions. Conjunctions or connectors. Okay, conjunctions or connectors. Connecting between two words or two sentences. It may be a word or a group of words or a phrase. The conjunction may be one word or group of words or phrase. Okay, so first, connector is a word or a phrase that joins two sentences or group of words together. I told you already, connector or conjunction is a word or a phrase that joins two sentences. Okay, so two sentences or a group of words together. They are also known as conjunctions. Conjunction or connector, both are same. Okay, first, some common coordinating conjunctions. So we have three types of conjunctions we are going to see. First one, coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating. So first one, coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions. What are the coordinating conjunctions? Page number 103. Page number 103 in your book, textbook. Coordinating conjunctions. Some coordinating conjunctions links two or more words, clauses or phrases, sentence or equal importance. Coordinating conjunctions means, what is that explanation? The conjunctions links two or more words. Two words or more than two words. Okay. So, clauses or phrases or sentences of equal importance. So, the coordinating conjunctions, before and after, they have equal importance. They will give equal importance to the sentence. Okay. So, in between the coordinating conjunction will come. Before the conjunction we have equal importance, we give the sentence, and after the conjunction also there will be a equal importance for the sentence. For example, she ran fast and won the race. She ran fast and won the race. Won the race. Okay. So, this is a sentence. So, what is the conjunction here? And. And is the conjunction. Coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction means what? A coordinating conjunction is a two or more words. A links. It is a one word. Here it is only one word, but two or more words also will come. Two or more words, clauses, phrases or sentences of equal importance. Okay. It will give equal importance to both sides. Okay. This one side, this is another side. So, the conjunction comes in center. So, it will give equal importance to this two sides. Okay. She ran fast, won the race. She ran fast, won the race. Both sides have equal importance. She ran fast and won the race. Okay. So, it will give equal importance both sides, balancing the two sides. Okay. That is the coordinating conjunction. Understood? It is balancing both sides. Okay. So, balancing both sides. Here subject is here, verb is a adverb, fast. Here verb race. Okay, won the race. So, this coordinating conjunction give sentence of equal importance. It give equal importance to both sides. That is the coordinating conjunction. So, what are the coordinating conjunctions? Some common coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or. So, in your book page number 103, and, but, or, therefore, as well as, to, else, otherwise, still, yet, while, however, so, consequently, for, etc. So, these are all coordinating conjunctions. So, understood? The conjunction will give equal importance to both sides. This is a one side before conjunction, this is after conjunction. Both sides are having equal importance. That is coordinating. Subordinating, second type. Subordinating conjunctions. Second one, subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunction is little different from the coordinating conjunctions. How? Subordinating conjunctions are the words that links a dependent clause to an independent clause. I already told you clause. What is called clause? A group of words. Okay, group of words is called clause. Okay. Dependent clause and independent clause. What do you mean by dependent clause? Dependent clause means a group of words, a clause that can stand by itself own. It can stand by itself. It's not depend on other sentence, other part. It can stand by itself. It gives meaning by own. So, independent clause means it always depend on the dependent clause. When the dependent clause come only, the independent clause will give meaning, otherwise it won't give meaning. So, that is the small explanation. For example, so what are the subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions are the words that links dependent clause to the independent clause. So, what is the work of the subordinating conjunction? The subordinating conjunction links the dependent clause to an independent clause. Okay. Let us see that example. The bus had left before he came. The bus had left before he came. When you say this sentence, the bus had left before he came. So, here in this sentence, what is the dependent clause, what is the independent clause? The bus had left. The bus subject had left, past perfect verb. Okay. So if the sentence, if the clause have subject and the predicate, if the clause have subject and the predicate, that is dependent clause. If you take this alone, this part alone also, it will give meaning. The bus had left, it will give meaning. So we have a meaning. The bus had left. But this part, before he came. So before he came. So what is that? Dependent clause to the had left. The bus had left before he came. So here, before he came is a independent clause. Independent clause. Before he came. See, independent clause. The bus had left. So dependent clause. So the conjunction, coordinating conjunction is before. It's connecting that independent clause with the dependent clause. So what is given? It's connecting between the dependent clause to an independent clause. Okay. So dependent clause, it's connecting this before. I mean that subordinating conjunction connecting this dependent clause to this independent clause. Okay. So that's what. So before he came, will you get the complete meaning? Before he came. Before he came, there is no complete meaning. But the bus had left, it gives complete meaning. So this is dependent clause. Before he came is an independent clause. So this conjunction, subordinating conjunction, connecting the dependent clause to the independent clause. Understood? So that is the work of the subordinating conjunction. So that's what. What are the subordinating conjunctions? Unless, when, whenever, after, as, until, unless, when, whenever, as soon as if, as though, because, before, even, if, even though, if, since, so that, though, till, where, wherever, whether, while, why, etc. Okay. So these are the subordinating conjunctions. So next we have correlative conjunction. Third type, we have correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction means nothing but a pair. Okay. So third one, correlative. C-O-R-R-E-L-A-T-I-V. Correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction is a type of conjunction that functions in a pair. Two words will come. So one word will come before, the another word will come after some words. So that is two words. Some common correlative conjunctions are either or. Either you will come or not. Either you will come or not. Okay. So neither nor. Neither nor. Neither he is a student nor a teacher. Neither he is a student nor a teacher. Neither he is a doctor nor a patient. Okay, he is a stranger there. Okay, that's what. Not only this, but you also. Not only myself, but you also will come for the school. Not only the teachers, but the students also come to the school. Likewise. Then, such as, such that, so as, either or. So, either, some sentence will come in between or. So, pair. Two conjunction will come. Two words will come. Either or. Both and under. Both and. Both and. So, two conjunctions. Not only but. Not only but. So, this is pair. 1, 2, pair. This is a correlative conjunction. Example, I am not only a singer but also a musician. So example, let's see that. I am not only singer but musician. Okay, understood. I am not only a singer but also a musician. Understood, my dear children? I am not only a singer but also a musician. I am not only a teacher but also a dancer. I am not only a student but also worker, part-time worker. Okay, likewise. So this is I am not only but also. So one example. This one, not only is one conjunction, another conjunction is but also. So this is pair. This always comes with the two, pair. So this is called correlative conjunctions. What are they? So that's I told you, either or both. So this conjunction, correlative conjunctions, if one conjunction not only come means but also will come, must come. So either will come means or will come, definitely. Either you or I. Either come means definitely or should come. That is the rule. It won't come alone. Okay? Either you. So it won't come alone. It come with a pair. So that's what. So coordinating conjunctions, some of the conjunctions are given. So coordinating conjunctions, so subordinating conjunctions of time, of place, of concession, of comparisons, that and all given. So page number 104, examples are given. Subordinating conjunctions, these conjunctions join two clauses, one of which is subordinate to the other. Time, make a while the sun shine. Make a while the sun. This is the subordinating conjunctions of time. Make a while the sunshine. Make a while the sunshine. The sunshines come. So it indicates the time. So that's what. Ravi reached the exam hall before the school bell had rang. So when he reached the exam hall before the school bell rang. So that is time. So this is a time. Subordinating conjunction, time. First, next under subordinating conjunctions we have place. Where, wherever, whence, whither. You will find your books where you had placed them. You find your books where you placed them. So this is a, where is a place. So this is a place. Subordinating conjunction under place. You can see beauty wherever you go in Ooty. So you can see beauty wherever you go in Ooty. So wherever is a place. Okay, wherever. So that is a subordinating conjunction under place. Next, concession. Though, although, even though. Though alarm woke up me, even though it was not very loud. The alarm woke me up, even though it was not very loud. The alarm woke me up, though, even though it was not very loud. So it is a concession. So even though, irundapodilum, you can say in Tamil, even though it was not so louder, but I woke up. The alarm said I woke up. Okay. The child was not covered, although it was very cold. Although it was very cold outside, but the child was not covered. So likewise. So comparison, he is not as clever as you. As clever as you. Degrees of comparison, I told you. Rekha is better than her father. Better than. It's a comparison. Comparing one person with the another than. Better than her father. So that is a comparison of conjunctions. Okay. So these are that. Some examples are given. Correlative conjunctions. The pairs of conjunctions require equal structures after each one. So some of the conjunctions are given. Shruti wants either the chocolates or the cake. Either or. She said that she would like to have both the chocolates and the cake. Both and. Okay, both chocolates and the cake. So both and. You can have neither the cake nor the ice cream. Neither nor. So these are the correlative conjunctions which have equal importance, both sides. Okay, so that's what. underline the conjunctions, that and all I'll give in that PDF format. While I'm giving notes for that answers and all, I'll give in that. Okay, so just practice this today. What are the topics? So I couldn't take that sentence pattern, we don't have time. Next class we will continue the sentence pattern and the poetry. Okay, so this class I conclude with that. You just go through the conjunctions, and before the previous classes we have seen that blends. Okay, and previous one is what we saw that the vocabulary part, idioms, different types of idioms, blends, idioms and conjunctions. You just have a good practice, well practice by yourself. It will be more interesting and very understandable to you. So till we meet in the next class, this is your English teacher signing off.